This practice is all about strengthening and supporting the knees, as well as the hips, and also finding relaxation in the neck and shoulders. So if you have a block or a blanket or both, and a wall, then bring those together. If you don't have a block, I have it turned up so you can see about how high it is, but you could also use like the end of a table or a bookshelf, right? So find ample space against your wall. And we'll begin by coming into a chair against the wall. So you're gonna want a blanket or a block to place between your knees. First, coming against the wall and feeling into your feet on the floor, somewhere near the wall. Find balance and disperse your weight amongst all 10 toes and all corners of your feet. And now bring awareness to your back and shoulders and head. And begin to work your way down into a squat, that chair pose. Your heels can be more or less underneath your knees, maybe a little bit closer to the wall than further out from your knees. Place that block or blanket between your knees, and this will begin to engage not only the thighs that come with the squat position, but now we're putting muscles on some focus on the adductor muscles and just more of a focused engagement. Bring your attention back to your feet. Send your breath all the way down, and this gets you in tune with your breath. Notice if the weight is more distributed out towards the balls of the feet or the heels. And then bring your attention back to your low back. So if your tailbone is reaching more towards the floor, you can straighten through the low back just a little bit more. And this might engage your core, this transverse abdominis, the rectus abdominis that hold you up. And you can engage it without really having to strain. Now coming to your upper back, let your shoulders melt against the wall. Maybe it helps to bring your arms, the palms open, and feel a length in your neck. And now take one more breath here down to your feet. And give yourself a break by pushing up and maybe shaking out some tension in your legs. We'll do this 3 times, and each time that you do it, you can change the intensity of your squat, and that'll put more or less strain on your thighs, and you can focus more or less on their legs versus the rest of your body. So when you're ready, come on down again. I'm going to try a little bit lower this time so that the thighs are a little more parallel with the ground. Prop between your knees so that your knees are about hip width apart. Again, tune in with the bottoms of your feet, and you want to tap into that full breath, the diaphragm expanding on the inhale, and a nice controlled release on the exhale. And then see what the alignment of your spine looks like without trying to manipulate it too much. And here again, you can broaden the shoulders and decide if you want to lengthen through the neck or just relax with your head pressed against the wall. It's so nice to have this support so you can focus on what is igniting and not so much just on trying to support yourself. Come back to your feet, your low back and your core muscles. Maybe your legs are shaking a little bit like mine are. And then use your hands to press against the wall and shake out any tension. Without so much talking, I would normally focus on how many breaths I was holding in the pose. 5 to 8 is a number I see a lot, and you can see what speaks to you. If you don't have much time, do 3 times each. And if you really want to see what you're made of, try 10 to 12. So one more time, I'm going to do a lot less intensity. So I'm a little bit more upright. Add the prop between my knees. Again, I'm focusing on my feet. How evenly can I distribute my body's weight out amongst the entire bottoms of my feet? And coming up through strong legs, of course. Here again, the low back. If your sacrum presses or reaches for the wall. And now see if you can broaden through the chest. And those shoulder blades are looking for the wall. What do you feel in your torso as the breath comes in and out? And what do you feel in your neck? And hold for one more breath. Scanning your body for sensations. What's calling out to you? As you come downhill, or you use your knees for something that requires a little bit more jostling, you can take yourself out of this pose. Your legs might be more inclined to brace that sort of impact if you regularly practice igniting those muscles. So in between some poses, we're going to focus on mountain on alternating legs. Beginning in a strong mountain, placing your weight out amongst all million points of the bottoms of your feet. You can lift and spread out the toes and set them down one by one. Work that energy up. Strong legs where your calves and thighs are engaged. The knee has a slight micro bend. And the pelvis is neutral, which means you've discovered tilting it forward and tilting it back, and knowing that neutral is somewhere in between. And it changes. Work your way up a long spine, through front and back to support it, and your neck follows as the crown of the head reaches towards the sky. Allow the shoulders to be broad and relaxed down the back. And let the breath light up the outline of your body, inside and out. And then switch your weight over from those million points of both feet onto your left foot, just so your right foot starts to come up. Now it's really easy here to fall into that left hip, and it helps to have a mirror sometimes to make sure that you're staying in line up your left side. As the right foot comes out, then you can draw a circle around just to keep your balance pose a little bit dynamic. Keep your posture in line as your foot swirls around, and you shift the weight all around your left foot and make your way back. So again, the focus is on the strength of this left leg as well as the balance in the foot. And then we'll switch over to the right once we've come back to center. So again, grounding down to the outline and the interior of the feet. As you push down through the contact, notice how the arches naturally want to come up. Come up strong legs, and there's a enough of a bend in the knee that you can feel the thighs and the muscles of the lower leg engage to support that. Now shift your weight over onto your right leg and foot, keeping that, I guess it would be your glute med engaged. So there's a long line along your right side. And now you can draw around with your left foot. As it moves forward and back, you can feel a stretch out through your toes. If it helps to balance, find a focal point on the floor or the wall, something stationary that can help you. And make your way back to center, both feet on the ground. Return completely to center with the weight on both feet before moving one foot at a time. And we move into our half moon pose against the wall. This is where you're going to need a support of some kind. It's not necessary, but it's helpful. We'll start with your left foot, and I'll be mirroring you with my right. So you're going to point your left foot towards the support. Your foot is parallel with the wall. And again, put a nice generous micro bend in that front knee. So you're igniting all the muscles of the leg. You're igniting that core. And as your hand comes down towards the support, the toes of your right foot point away from the wall as the leg lifts up. So find stability here. It doesn't matter exactly how high or low that right leg is, but make sure you're in tune with all muscles of the leg that's standing. And now work to stack the hips. So you're using the wall as sort of a guide to keep you in line. And if you can bring that right foot up, it gets easier the more you put a bend in that standing leg. And from here, again, focusing on the length and stability of the torso, you can stack the shoulders and bring that right arm up towards the sky, keeping your neck in line with the spine. You can look up towards your hand or down towards your hand. Take another deep breath here, as long as you need to feel the support and stability of this pose. If you can, take as much weight out of the supporting hand as you can and see how much you're holding yourself up here. And when you're ready, bring yourself down and back up. And you can kind of shake out anything that got tense. Find your center and move your prop to the other side or find another. And so now your right foot is parallel with the wall. You have a good support in this standing leg here. So bend your knee as much as you want or need in order to begin the descent of your hand and the lift of your left leg. Again, the toes of this lifted leg are pointed out and away. This becomes a hip opener, and your thighs are activating apart. Stack your hips and your shoulders. Keep your torso nice and strong. See how much you can get that back leg to come up and lengthen through the crown of your head. If you want to back off in any way, bend the knee more, look down towards the ground. Take another deep breath here, or as many as you need. And then bring that top foot down and work your way back up. It's so nice with the wall. You can work on your alignment and feel supported Eventually, if you feel like it, you can come out away from the wall in still beautiful pose. This next pose is actually a mudra, a gesture of the whole body called Message of Shiva. And this is nice as part of your practice or on a side. For instance, if you're on a hike through nature and you'd like to pause for a moment and express yourself as a message. And it's a little bit artistic as well. This is also a balance pose, so this is a lot of balancing in one practice. But again, we can always modify to use supports. So find your center. Be grounded through both feet and strong legs, and lift yourself up through your spine, broad chest to open the heart center, and lift your chin up enough to be inspired. Draw the breath in and release. Then shift your weight over to your right foot, keeping everything in line, just enough to be aware and alert. And bring your left foot behind you. This time I'm not mirroring you. You can keep the toes on the ground, but this foot is hooked behind the standing foot. You can also lift it up and create more of an engagement for your balance pose. The hand of the standing leg comes up, and the palm of the bent, on the side of the bent knee, faces forward with the hand on the thigh. This higher palm is a gesture of safety and protection, and the lower palm of a humble gesture of compassion and forgiveness. Pause here for a moment and a breath to both offer and receive protection and forgiveness. Gently release back to standing. Bring the center of your weight between the feet. If you need to lower, put it more of a bend in your knees and allow your center of gravity to be more connected with the earth. And then shifting your weight onto your left foot. Circle your right foot behind and hook it behind the standing leg, toes on the ground or lifted. Palm of the standing leg raised and the other on your thigh. Again, offering and receiving protection, safety, forgiveness, and compassion. On your next breath, release. Come back to center and gently work through any tension that may have come into the joints or the muscles. And this next pose is on the ground. It's a bridge. Some bridge exercises. If you have a folded blanket or two, have them ready. One is fine. Two is just more convenient. Same for a block. A block and a blanket, 2 blocks, 2 blankets, or 1 block or 1 blanket. Rolling onto your back. Bring your feet about hip width apart, and your heels are in tickling distance of your fingertips. The sacrum connects to the earth, and feel the natural curve of your spine as the shoulders melt down towards the floor. The palms are on the earth. Take a moment here to feel the support of the earth. Feel how it supports your head and allows the length of your neck to naturally elongate and relax. And maybe your shoulders have the opportunity to melt towards the earth and maybe down towards your pelvis. You get a couple of enlivening breaths deep in towards the diaphragm, maybe through a slightly constricted throat in Ujjayi breath. Sounds like the ocean passing through the in and the exhale. And grounding down through all points of the feet and toes, the shoulders, and the palms. On an inhale, use that ground force reaction to help your hips lift towards the ceiling, rolling up through the spine and engaging all of the muscles of the abdomen, the glutes and the legs, low back. And exhale as you gently roll back down. Sacrum touches the floor. Find your ground through the feet and the shoulders. And again, lift through the hips, rolling up the spine. The engagement of these muscles is sort of like an orchestra. And again, roll back down. Pay attention to the muscles that are helping the spine as it moves down the wave of your breath. And then once more, coming up, grab your blanket and place it between your knees. Should have had you do it when we were down. And hold this here. Again, feeling this symphony of muscles holding you up. See which ones ignite if you try to lift your hips just a little bit higher. And now see how your neck adjusts. Does it get longer? Does it get tighter? What can you adjust to get the most from this holding? Send your breath to places of constriction and allow the tension to dissolve and ride on the exhale. Your next exhale, release back down. Relax the sacrum onto the earth. And you can hold the blanket between your knees and get your other one handy. Or you can release this blanket. It's not as important on this next move. As you inhale, lift the hips again and grab your blocker blanket. Place it underneath your sacrum and settle back down onto it. You want it fairly low as a folded blanket, unless you're into more of a back bend. But this is enough of a back bend that if your muscles aren't used to it, you will feel the effects after a little while. So again, the blanket between the knees can be kept or left behind, because this could be a resting pose or an active pose. Feel the grounding of your hands and feet and shoulders. See if you can relax the shoulders enough that the chest begins to broaden and the heart center to open. Send the breath deep into the far reaches of the body. One more full, embodied breath. Inhale, lift. Remove the blanket from underneath your sacrum and lower back down to the earth. And here, remove the blanket. If you really enjoyed that, I would come down onto a slightly lower blanket to rest for a while. You can turn this into constructive rest, where the feet, as you walk them away from you, takes the weight into the heels. And as you walk them towards you, take the weight into the balls of the feet. Now, somewhere right in between, the weight distributes magically and evenly amongst the bottoms and toes. And here you can let the knees point towards the sky, or walk the feet out towards the sides of your mat, and the knees can fall in on each other. This is anatomically neutral and will allow you to relax your mind a little bit easier. If you care to open the chest and allow the breath in and out, then let the palms flop open and the arms can come out to 45 or more degrees angle from your body. Maybe your shoulders settle down onto the earth a little bit more. And if your sacrum is on a blanket or lifted at all, know that it's this slight inversion is taking the weight of the organs off of your pelvic floor and allowing you to relax in a way that you don't normally get to relax. Feel the breath come in and out of your body. The air on your skin. And offer gratitude for yourself for being mindful in the body with the breath. As you prepare to take on the next challenges and successes of your day. On an inhale, bring movement to your fingers and toes. On another inhale, draw movement into the arms and legs. And if you'd like to roll up to seated, grab behind your knees. Begin to rock back and forth, keeping the nose towards the knees to lift the head off the ground. Thank you for joining me in this practice. Namaste.